Welcome to Online Marketing for Massage Therapists with me, Alyssa Haynes, brought to you by Sohnen-Moe. We're going to jump into email marketing. So why would you want to use email? And the short answer is because it works. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It gets better response rates than direct mail. Email is measurable. That means that we can see who is opening emails, what links are being clicked on, and who isn't opening emails. It's cost effective. It's much less expensive to send emails than it is to send paper correspondence through the U.S. Postal Service. Surveys have shown that consumers prefer it. They would much rather get an informational email than get a bunch of junk mail that gets thrown right into the recycle bin. And more people are viewing information from their mobile units, from their smartphones, and email can be very compatible with that. So there's a couple different types of emails that we send in the typical massage business. The first one is called transactional, and that's an individual email. So it's one email being sent to one person for a particular reason. So if a client needed a receipt for an office visit, and you use an invoicing system, you could email them a receipt. You can email a confirmation when an appointment is booked. Your appointment making software will send clients email notifications and reminders of appointments. And you might use email to follow up with a client to check in and see how they're doing after they've seen you. And the second type is bulk email, which means you're sending the same content out to a bunch of people. So if you've got an email list of 200 clients, they're all going to get the same type of newsletter or an update or special offer. So let's jump into transactional email. There's a few must-haves for transactional emails. You want to have your name set up properly in the email settings, which means on the from line, you want it to say either your name or the business name, whatever is appropriate. I prefer a person's name. That may or may not be right for your business, so you need to think about that. And you want to have an email signature. Most programs will allow you to set up an email signature within the program so that it will automatically appear on the bottom of every email. You'll see mine towards the right says Alyssa Haynes Massage Therapist. It gives my office address, it gives my phone number, and it gives a link to my website. You'll notice that it doesn't include my email address because they're already going to have that. This is coming to them in an email. And you also want to resist the urge to use fancy formatting. You want to use a font that's very easy to read. You want it to be clean and clear, and you want it to match the other fonts used in your email. You also want to avoid using a colored background or any kind of wacky formatting. I don't encourage you to put images in your email. Not everyone's email programs will receive them as images. Sometimes they come through as attachments. And that's going to increase the chance that your email ends up in a junk mail box or just never gets read. We do want to follow certain etiquette rules for transactional emails. Because email correspondence can happen very quickly and casually, it's very easy to accidentally make it too casual. So I encourage you to think of it as important as if you're sitting down writing a note on a piece of paper. You want to use a greeting and a closing, which means you want to say, "Dear Bob," or "Hello, Bob," and then you want to close it with "sincerely" or "regards" or whatever the appropriate closing is for you, and then put your name. You want to use abbreviations sparingly. It's important to remember that you are not texting here, and you want to write out full words. It looks more professional. It's much easier to understand. Not everybody understands text speak. And you want to avoid jargon, which means if you're talking about massage stuff, you don't want to necessarily use specific massage terms. A client may not understand technical terms, so you want to keep it very clear and avoid using any massage terms they may not understand. And you also want to make the subject field match the content. People are more likely to open your email if they know what it's going to be about. So if you're always using wacky subject headings that don't make sense, people are going to start ignoring your emails. They're going to become unimportant. You want to create that reputation of being reliable and efficient and making sense. Now let's jump into bulk email, which means you're sending identical content to many recipients. Bulk emails can come in many forms. Oftentimes people will send out a regular newsletter with updates and information about what's going on in their massage business. Sometimes there's a special offer before the holidays where you have a gift certificate sale. And sometimes you just want to advertise some last-minute appointments that you have open so that you can fill up your calendar for the week. If you're going to be sending emails, it's really wise to use a service, a bulk email provider. The Federal Trade Commission has a whole set of rules and regulations that govern commercial emails. So any email that you send that's promoting your business is considered a commercial email. And there's something called the CAN-SPAM Act. And this is a very brief synopsis and not by any means all of the information. But they mandate that you have a correct from and reply to address. They require that there's a physical mailing address somewhere in the email. Also that there's the option to opt out or unsubscribe, and that's very clearly written in the email. There's a whole bunch of other rules and regulations, and when you use a specific service, all of that's going to be done for you. There are a handful of them. There's a few that are free. Using a bulk email provider also improves your deliverability, which means it's much more likely to get into the recipient's inbox so that they'll actually read it. And they look better when you use a service. The emails are formatted properly, they look good, they look professional, and they're much more likely to get a response. Getting started with email marketing can be intimidating, but really it's not that hard. You just have to learn. We're going to look at what goes in an email, why you would want to put a subscription box on your website, and what it is to customize a welcome email. So first, let's look at the anatomy of an email. We've got the header. And that means the from address, and you'll see it says clearly Alyssa Haynes, massage therapist, and then in the brackets lists my email address. That's standard. I'm using a clear name, that's me, or you may find that using your business name is more appropriate. You've got to figure out what works best for you. The subject line reflects the content. It very clearly says 10% off all gift certificates next week. There are no surprises when you open this email. People know what's in there. It's a shorter subject line, 50 characters or less, and we avoid spam triggers. In general, you want to avoid using lots of symbols or words that say free or sale. You want to keep it relevant without being too generic. You want to make sure that your email is attractive and shareable. So you'll see that there are social sharing buttons so people can share this email via Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or whatever mechanism they're using. And if you're using an email service, this will be one of the automatic options. It's not something you have to do extra. You'll see that the branding is consistent with all of the branding of my business. It's got my very standard logo and color scheme in there, so it's pretty clear who it's coming from. And it's consistent with the rest of my marketing materials. And you always want to include a call to action. You've got to tell the readers what you want them to do. In this example, I'm sending out an email that's talking about gift certificates being on sale over the holidays. And it says very clearly you can get them online here. There are hot links underneath the gift certificates on sale and the Get Them Online Here text. It makes it very clear that they should buy gift certificates. And there's no mystery. Sometimes your call to action is going to be different. It can be just to schedule an appointment, or perhaps it could be to share a blog post that you've written. But you want to make it very clear what the purpose is of the email and what you want them to do with it. When you set up with an email service, you're going to have the option to create a little subscription box that you can put on your website and also on your social media page. Most bulk email providers have very easy integration with Facebook. It's a little step-by-step process. You'll walk right through it. You'll see in the bar under my cover photo, there's a little link to click that says Join My List. When someone clicks on that, they get to a form where they can enter their email address. The other box towards the bottom is just a clip off of my website. That sits on the sidebar of every page of my website. It's very clear that someone can sign up there for newsletters and updates. Bulk email providers will allow you to set up an autoresponder, which means as soon as someone signs up to receive your emails, you can automatically send them a welcome email. This is like a virtual handshake. It's going to be the first or second contact that people have with your business. Oftentimes it's the second contact if they've come to you through your website and subscribed there. But it's a great way to set expectations. You can tell them what they're going to be receiving from you on a regular basis. You can invite them to communicate with you, to schedule an appointment or answer questions. You can tell them about what makes your business special, what makes you different. And you're going to cement the branding in the subscriber's memory. So they've gone to your website and they've seen your logo, and then you're going to send them this email and it's going to have your logo. And they're getting this email within a few minutes of when they subscribe, so they're not going to wonder where it comes from. It's all making sense. And then the next time they do get an email from you, when you send out your newsletter next month, it's going to be familiar to them. It's not going to be a surprise. They won't have forgotten that they signed up. They'll know why they're receiving it. A welcome email is a really nice touch. It's not hard to set up with all of the bulk email providers, and it's something that not everybody remembers to do. So if you do it, you're going to stick out from the competition, and it's a beautiful virtual handshake to introduce your business to someone new. One of the most popular questions we get when we talk about email marketing is, what am I going to put in there? You can put a variety of information in there. You need to think about what the goal of your email is. Do you just want to inform and educate your clients and potential clients about a particular topic or event? Do you want to encourage appointment bookings or gift certificate sales? We already covered the welcome email. You might send out a monthly or bi-monthly newsletter that just talks a little bit about what's going on in your office and why someone should come in. Sometimes we have special holiday offers and last-minute appointments. If you look at your schedule on a Sunday and see that you've got 5 open appointments, you could send out an email and try to fill up those appointments. You might offer a couple of dollars off any of those appointments, or maybe not. There's a lot of different information you can put in emails, and it just takes a little practice to get used to writing them. Now, how do you build a list so that you have a whole bunch of people to send these emails to? Well, we already looked at one way, which is to put a subscription box on your website and on your social media venues. So people may come to you via Google searches and having landed on your website, or perhaps they ended up with one of your business cards after a friend passed it along. They visited your website and they subscribed. But you always want to treat email addresses like relationships and don't abuse them. You only want to send emails to people who have requested and agreed to receive them. Some business owners will go to live networking events, say a Chamber of Commerce meetup, and they'll swap business cards, and then they'll go back to their office and they'll have a stack of business cards, and they will enter every one of those email addresses from every business card into their list. That is a huge no-no. Unless you get permission from someone specifically, don't just be putting them on your list. That's inappropriate. You very likely have a whole stack of forms from current and previous clients. So if you've got current clients but you haven't started email marketing yet, over the course of a few months as clients come in, have a little form where they can write their name down and write their email address down, and a little box they can check that says, sure, it's okay to email me. Or if you already have email addresses but they're kind of stale, which means you haven't used them in a very long time, or maybe you've never used them, but you've got them sitting on all the intake forms from the past year of clients, you can send one email to that list as a feeler and allow them to opt in. So you send an email out and it says, I'm going to be sending regular email newsletters to all of my clients. If you would like to receive them, click here. And that link is going to be right to your email subscription box, and you're allowing people to opt in. If they don't click on that link and they don't opt in, take them off your email list. You have not received permission to email them. You can also build a list while you're out doing public events. If you're doing chair massage at a health fair or for some kind of benefit, it's a great idea to have a clipboard out and have a form so people can sign up to receive your regular emails. Or if you've got local referral partners, you might do some kind of a subscription contest where you leave a fishbowl and some forms on the local chiropractor's counter, and you do a drawing to win a gift certificate for a massage. And people can sign up with their names and put their email addresses on there. And again, you're going to have a little checkbox that says it's okay to send me regular email newsletters and updates. And that's a great way to build your list. When you're out in public or when you're working with referral partners, you can get a lot of potential clients on your email list simply by asking them. When you're working out at a public event and you're doing share massage and you're meeting lots of people and you're handing out your cards and you're getting people's email addresses, it's a wonderful idea to follow up on that very quickly. So if you have a list of 20 emails because you did a local health fair, you go back to your office within a day or two and you plug in all of those emails, if you've gotten permission to do so, and you send all of them a welcome email. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but again, it's a virtual handshake. And you want that email to say, hello, it was a pleasure to meet you at whatever the event was. I've added you to my email list. You can expect to get an email once every month or so. Hope you're feeling great, and if you have any questions, please give me a call or email me here. It's an extra virtual handshake welcoming someone to your email list. It's warm, it's fuzzy. They just met you a couple days ago, so they're going to remember it. And it's a great way to ensure that when they get your newsletter a month later, they're going to remember who you are and they're not just going to delete it. So just as important as getting emails is following up with them in a personal manner. And just like every other little bit of marketing, it's really important to schedule it. You want to get organized so that these emails actually go out. Otherwise, you'll spend 6 months writing a newsletter and it will never get out. So you want to clarify the purpose of your emails. You want to create goals and decide how you'll measure success. And determine the frequency of emails. What is really going to work for you? And schedule that in your calendar so you make time to work on these emails and you can actually get them out. Embrace the learning curve. There's going to be a learning curve whenever we use new technology. You just got to pace yourself. On occasion, you're going to mess something up. There might be a typo in there. You might put the wrong date in. It helps to have a friend or a colleague who can proofread your emails for you and check all the links and check all the grammar and spelling. But it's important to remember that your clients and potential clients will still love you even if you misplace a comma or spell a word wrong, as long as it doesn't happen all the time. Use the resources and free tutorials that will go right along with whatever email subscription service you choose to use. And use their helplines. If you're struggling, email or call the help desk and they will be able to walk you through it. And that's an overview of email marketing for a massage therapist with me, Alyssa Haynes.